welcome to A Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and this is my car. I'm not going to stay here very long, but this is my weekly vlog. I just dropped my son off at day camp, so in a moment I will start the vlog and then I will come back, not from my car, and we'll talk about the week and what I am currently reading. So I'll see you back in a bit. So it's Saturday, June 24th, and I'm about to read, but I wanted to show you something. How I always get myself into trouble with how much I have to read. So for the Women's World Cup readathon, my country is Zambia. I could read a poem, I could read an article. Instead, I'm reading this. I've tabbed it through, so it takes me about 3 weeks to get through, reading just a little bit, but yeah, I make my life so hard for myself sometimes. Anyway, I just thought I would share. I'm going to get to reading because I've got some exciting plans tonight, which I hope to get some videos for you about it and share them with you. You'll like it. Might even be a little bookish. We'll see. Where am I going? City Center, going downtown Portland on the Max. I just had my husband to drop me off here at the station closest to us in Hillsborough, and I'm going to go meet some friends in downtown Portland. Coming up among something momentous here. All the floors in this place. It's Powell's World of Books. That's where we're going right now. This is where I am. So excited. Hello, it is Sunday, June 25th. I'm in my backyard. It's lovely outside. I realized I hadn't brought my reading chair out yet, and it's almost July, but I'll probably wait till after the 4th of July to bring it out, just because it's like a chaise lounge. It takes up a lot of space, and we're having people over for the 4th of July, just kind of hang out, so I'll probably wait till after that. Meantime, I'm just lounging on chairs. Anyway, yeah, so last night I went to, switch my arm here. I went to downtown Portland to see A Midsummer Night's Dream, done by Portland Center Stage. Two of my friends have season tickets, and sometimes when you get season tickets, you get like that extra ticket to bring someone along. So I usually go see a show or two, or at least pre-pandemic, I would go see a show or two with them at a time. So this is the first time I've been since the pandemic. It's also the first time I've kind of like been walking through downtown Portland. I mean, I've gone through it like on the train or driven through it, but the first time I walked through it, it was a lovely night and lovely evening. So yeah, you know, Portland, people say things about Portland. It's not true. Just so you know, it's not a scary place. Anyway, my husband's going to come out and make noise, start dinner, so I'm going to log off now. Okay. Give me back my gun. No. You can't me inside. Good evening. It's Monday, 26th of June. I just finished reading Lone Women. I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up on Friday, but I enjoyed this one. Not super scary, at least not for me, but again, you know, whatever. But it's a good novel, and I liked it. Right now, my big decision is, do I put this on my keeper shelf, or do I pass it on? And I think in this case, I'm going to pass it on, because I think I'm going to pass it on to my nieces, who I think would really like it. And I'm just starting this book here, which is Body Grammar by Jules Oman. So this is, I picked this up for Pride Month, but I picked it up off the Portland authors table at Powell's. So it's a Portland author and it's a Pride book. I probably won't finish it in June because I'm just starting it now. But yeah, that's what I'm reading. Otherwise, yeah, it's, I rearranged my living room this morning. So when I say I mean, I directed the kids to move furniture around because they got to earn their keep. But I have my reading chair back where it's good, so I can start. I probably won't read that much inside just because it's so nice outside. But in the, you know, fall, winter, spring, it's a really nice place to read. And I also switched it so the chair's facing the other way because there was a problem with the way it was before, that at certain times of the day I couldn't read there because the sun was coming in at a weird angle. So I just switched it. So that'll get some use in the future. So yeah, that's what's going on in my neck of the woods. Get back to reading. Good evening. It is Tuesday, June 27th. I always have to think about the date. I'm back in my backyard again because it's quiet here and it's not quiet in my house. Kids are there. Today was a busy day. We had eye doctor appointments and I had moved. My hair's doing something weird right here. That's the thing when you use your phone, you can like see yourself and it feels like a mirror. Anyway, sorry about that. The whole family had eye doctor appointments today, and they had tried to like do all four of us like at once, like back to back appointments, except my son had a day camp. So the three of us, my daughter, my husband, and I, did our appointments. And then the afternoon I took my son back. My son is the one person in our family who can see. The rest of us can't. So his vision is like perfect and all that. But my prescription did not, oops, sorry, I'm adjusting with my hand. Let's see if I do that. My prescription didn't change this time, which is nice, but I did get new glasses, new frames. I haven't been wearing my glasses like I should, obviously, because you rarely see me with glasses on here. Part of the reason is because the glasses that I have, they aren't super comfortable, so I just went for some more comfortable frames. And then my daughter, her prescription didn't change either, which is the first time ever. Usually it goes down like 2 steps, or it gets worse, 2 steps every time. Her prescription didn't change, so she already has 2 pairs of glasses with the correct prescription, so she got sunglasses. So she'll look really cute when she gets those. And then my husband, I don't know about his prescription, but he just got contacts. But my son didn't need anything. And then came home. I finished a NetGalley book, and I was thinking about this. My original intention was to do standalone book review videos of every NetGalley book, and then a lot of the other books that I read. So I've read 2 books that I am not going to do standalone book reviews of. One is Lone Women by Victor LaValle, which I finished yesterday, and I actually really liked. I mean, I'll talk about these in my wrap-up, but I'm not going to do like a standalone video. And I really liked Lone Women, but a lot of people have done reviews of it, so I don't feel like I could really add anything to the conversation with it, so I'm not going to worry about that one, other than to say it's a good book. And then I finished the Madwomen of Paris by Jennifer Cody Epstein just today, and that was a NetGalley book, and I didn't like it. I think I gave it a C. So I did my review, which is up on Goodreads if you want to go see it. And it will be up on my blog on its release date, but I'm not going to do a video of it. I don't feel right doing a video like that on it. Yeah. So I'm just not going to. It's unfortunate because I've read Jennifer Cody Epstein before and actually really liked her book. And oh, my kids are being loud again. I actually really liked her books. It's just this one didn't work. It felt like, I'll talk a little bit more about this when I do my wrap up, but it felt like there was all the elements for a good book there, but it needed to go through a couple more rewrites because nothing had germinated, I think is the word I used in my review. So there's that. So yeah, I think I'm going to hold off a little bit on starting my next NetGalley. I have a lot of NetGalley books to review, but I've actually really slowed down on my requesting them. But the next one I have, so Madwomen Paris comes out July 18th, and the next one I have comes out, sorry, my arm's getting tired and I have to kind of shift to get the hand thing there. The next one comes out, I think comes out like early August, so I have time. I think I'm just going to wait until I finish another book or 2, maybe until I finish Dr. Strange, Jonathan Strange, and Mr. Norrell before I pick up another NetGalley book. I have time, so it's okay. Especially since I started the Old Drift, that Zambian book for the Women's World Cup readathon. I started that one, and I'm reading it really slowly, just little chunks at a time. But that's just one more book, so I think I'm going to try and limit it a little bit. And I did start the 4th Maggie Darcy book by Sarah Stewart Taylor. It's called The Stolen Child. I started that last night. I like that series. That's about she's a Long Island detective, but she like hooks up with this Irish guy. And so the first 3 books are kind of hopping between Long Island and Ireland, but now she's moved to Ireland, but she has to start at the bottom, like in their police department. So she was like this like senior detective on Long Island, and now she's like a uniform walking the, doing a little walking the beat in Ireland, so it's kind of fun. But of course, she's got like special skills, so she gets pulled into these investigations. But they're kind of fun. Yeah, so that's what's going on with me. As I said, my son has day camp all this week, but I think we're done with appointments and such, so that is good. We were overdue for our eye doctor appointment, so I'm glad to get that taken care of. So yeah, it's beautiful here in Oregon. It is actually perfect weather. Supposed to get hot next week. It's supposed to be hot on the 4th of July, which is unfortunate. We're gonna have people over, so I don't know if people are still gonna want to come over and hang out outside, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's what's going on with us. I'm just plugging along with my reading. I have finished 4 books this week so far. Yeah, so that's kind of amazing, but I'm all for it. Anyway, I'm starting to babble, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Talk to y'all later. I'm outside reading, hence the glasses. It is Wednesday, June 28th. I tried like 4 times this morning to do a video, and I got interrupted every single time, so I gave up. That's what happens. But I got 2 things out of the library today. One, I got a book graphic novel. I can't remember the title of it, but I think it's YA, but I'm not sure. But it's a graphic memoir of a Wuhanese American, so that should be pretty interesting. And then finally came in the Blu-ray of East of Eden. I'm trying to make my husband watch with me because he swears that is not James Dean. And I'm like, it says so right there, James Dean. But since I finished the book, I thought I'm gonna go ahead and watch this. I also have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but that is still on hold. I don't know what's taking so long with that one. But anyway, yeah. So that is that. Let's see, nothing much else coming up on Friday. The fam and I are going to go see a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. My son watched the Donny Osmond version and he loved it, so I thought, well, let's go see this. So we're going to go see that at a regional theater company near us, so that will be fun. So pretty much that's all that's on my agenda coming up, and I'm going to get back to my book. I'm reading what am I reading? I'm reading Body Grammar by Jules Oman. This is a Portland author. It's a coming of age story. I'm really enjoying it so far. It will probably get its own video review when I finish, because I want to support local authors and maybe authors who don't have quite the presence out there. And so far, we'll see how this one goes. If it really sours at the end, I may not. We'll see how it finishes. I shouldn't commit to that until I know for sure if I like it or not. But yeah, that's what's going on. Talk to y'all later. It is Thursday, June 29th, and I have no clue if I've already vlogged today or not. It's been that kind of day. Just hectic running around. I'm enjoying a little quiet time in the backyard because my kids are hella noisy. So I lock them and then I lock them in. But they're in the house. And I'm out here with Body Grammar. I may possibly be able to finish this by tomorrow, which is nice because I'd like to finish this in June for Pride Month. But yeah, that's one of the books I'm working on. I'm looking out at all my garden planter bags that I did earlier this summer, and nothing is growing except potatoes. Potatoes are growing like nobody's business. So next year I'm just gonna plant potatoes. I love potatoes. Like, the only way I don't like potatoes is when you put frozen hash browns in like breakfast casseroles. That's gross. But other than that, I'll eat potatoes anyway. So next I'm just gonna grow potatoes. Forget the radishes and the lettuce and all that crap. Just potatoes. Potato is now the Oregon state vegetable, which apparently people are upset about, and I don't know why. I mean, Oregon did put the "or" in Ore-Ida, so, you know, we got the potato thing down. Anyway, I don't know, I'm rambling. I'm going to be doing my wrap-up tomorrow and probably a couple other videos. I have to do my June wrap-up and my half-year wrap-up, and I have to do the mid-year freakout tag, which I have been avoiding until it's actually mid-year, but I do have my questions. I've noticed there's some different versions of that tag going around, so I quite like the version that Roz did, so I'm using hers because I like that one best. So anyway, I'm going to get to reading while the rice cooks. I'll talk to y'all later. Well, welcome back. That was my week. Today is, as I said before, Friday, June 20th, or is that right? No, June 30th. I don't even know the day. I am back in my house in Boring Corner, but it's the only kind of quietish place. My son is at camp, but my husband and my daughter are here, so noise may happen. Who knows? I got my coffee, drinking out my Big Book Summer Challenge. So, this has been, I think I don't have much to add to my week other than the whole family's going to go see a musical tonight. That will be fun. And then we got to clean the house for the 4th of July because we're having people come over, supposedly. We'll see. It's supposed to be hot on the 4th of July, and the plan was to be outside in the backyard, especially since people are bringing their dogs. A couple people are bringing their dogs. We were going to be in the backyard. The cat will not be happy about this, but not only will she be upstairs in our bedroom, but she may also be drugged because the 4th of July is the worst day of the year for her, as it is for most animals, I am sure. Anyway, so let me tell you about what I finished this week. Again, the advantage to being a boring corner is that I am able to check everything. So yes, today is June 30th. I may still finish 2 books today. So this may not be a final, like this is what I finished this month, which is why I'm not filming my monthly update today. But let's see, I finished 4 books this week. The first one was The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. This is a horror novel. I heard about it from Willow at Books and Bow, and I enjoyed this. So, but there was an unfortunate timing thing with this, as this is the second T. Kingfisher book I read. The first one was A House with Good Bones. Both of these books are about like your mean dead grandma's house. I guess, I always, how people always say, you think is the Pope Catholic? If you want to say something's really obvious, I would always say, does Amy Tan have mommy issues? So now I might start saying, does T. Kingfisher have Grammy issues? I don't know. Anyway, it's not exactly the same. In A House with Good Bones, the house is really kind of a character itself, whereas in this book, it's sort of just the tool to get the story going. It's not really where the story takes place. But it is a similarity that I wish I had read another T. Kingfisher between the two to kind of break up. So, but that's not a fault of either book. That's just timing. But I did actually really enjoy it. I thought this one was a good one. This is one, you ever read those books where you kind of read them and you're like, I wish this were a movie, because this is something I want to see. I want to see how they make this visually come to life. That was one of those books. So I like that one. I gave that one an A, I think. And then go back and make sure I did. I should check these things beforehand. My spreadsheet, I used the currently reading spreadsheet. Yes, I did. And no, I gave that a B+. It must have just been, I think I gave it a B+ because that's the way I was feeling at the time. I might go back and change that to an A now that time has passed. So the next book I finally finished was 12 Years a Slave, which I read on the Serial app by Solomon Northup. If you don't know what this book is about, it's a true story. It's a memoir of a man who was a freed African-American in the 1840s, 1850s. And he lived in New York. And one of the things that he did, he did a couple different jobs. So one of the things he did was he was a musician. He was a violin player. So at times he would travel around to do that. And one of these times he's traveling with these people he doesn't know very well. And they travel down to Washington, D.C., which is, if you're not from the United States, Washington, D.C. is between the states of Maryland and Virginia. And it is actually technically Southern because the Mason-Dixon line goes above Maryland. It's not, I will say, in modern day, you can't really categorize it because you just can't, because it's Washington, D.C. and people from everywhere are there. So, but at the time it was considered pretty Southern. And while he's there, he's drugged and then he's sold into slavery. His free papers are stolen and he's sold into slavery, and it takes 12 years for him to get out. And this is his experience as a slave. It was really good. It was a very interesting book. In that I really had to kind of look at it with a historical mind, because there were things when you first read it, you're like, really? Like, he talks about his first enslaver, who he says is, well, he was a little misguided on slavery, but he was really just a wonderful person. And I'm like, he owned you. It's like he owned other human beings. I don't, that's not misguided. And you put it into a historical mindset. So a couple things going on here. One, I do think that Solomon Northup was suffering a bit from what we now consider Stockholm Syndrome. Also, this book was written after the fact, and comparatively, this guy wasn't that bad. Let's just say comparatively to some of the other things that he's experienced. But there was also, and this is not at all to excuse slavery, but there was this sort of, this is part of our world thing going on in then. And so there were things like that. But I did see where, yeah, the lens he saw himself through was one that was very much of its time. There's also something that I don't think that like if a very casual reader would probably kind of think about was the fact that yes, before he was sold into slavery, he was a free person in the United States, but that doesn't mean he was an equal person in the United States, because even in the free states, African Americans were not seen as equal. So he's coming to this whole experience from a place that we don't understand. I think as a white person, you will never be able to really truly understand it, except maybe on an academic level. So yeah, but it was really interesting. I highly recommend it. The movie, which I have seen, is also very good. So, and I think there's some, I need to go back and watch the movie again, but from what I remember, it's not that they changed things, but they left some things out, which is fine. Otherwise it would be like 6 hours long. That's fine. But it's still worth seeing. The next book I finished was for June on the Range. This is probably my most June on the Range book. And that is Lone Women. I quite like this book. I am not doing a video review of it because there's so many video reviews out of this book and I can't add anything new to the conversation. But it was fun. This was another one I'd love to see a movie of because I think it'd be really cool. I really like this, and I think I'll read some more Victor LaValle. Normally I would keep a book that I gave this book an A, by the way. And I gave 12 Years a Slave an A+. I gave this book an A. And normally I would put a book that I give an A to on my keeper shelf, but I am actually going to pass this on to some family members who I think would really enjoy it, because it's just really kind of a fun book with really interesting characters and some really interesting things going on in it. Yeah, I would recommend this. If you are looking for a Western, this is not a Western. This is a horror novel in a Western setting. So I think you do kind of need to kind of go in with correct expectations on this, because I think it would be pretty easy to expect something and get something else and not be happy with it. But if you kind of know, like I knew pretty much what to expect going into this, but I was still surprised a lot of the time. This is just a fun book. I enjoyed this one. And then finally, I'm going to talk about this book a little bit more because, well, I'll explain why. It's The Madwomen of Paris by Jennifer Cody Epstein. And this is, it'll be released in July 18th. It was a NetGalley arc that I had. And normally, my thought up until this point was I'm just always going to do a video review of a NetGalley that I read, because I feel that's kind of what you should do as part of the, I mean, I do my review on Goodreads and I post it on my blog, but I also kind of feel like, oh, I should also do a standalone video review of it, because that's part of the deal. And I decided not to do that for this one because I did not like it. I've read Jennifer Cody Epstein in the past and I've had good luck with her. And the subject, which is, it sets in a mental hospital for women who are suffering from hysteria, which is never defined. That's not an issue for me because hysteria never really has been defined in terms of that. It was just troublesome women. It could be everything from epilepsy to lesbianism to my husband wants to get rid of me. I mean, there's a whole thing that could be hysteria. And I thought that would be really, and the main character had been a patient and then she was healed. And now she works there, and there's a doctor who's an actual historical figure who's specializing in hypnotism. That sounded all really interesting. But this book just didn't come together for me. First off, if you read it, like if I hear that kind of book, I want a really good sense of place, and I don't have one here. I don't have a good sense of place, and I don't have a good sense of time. I knew it was France because everyone had French names. And I knew it was Paris because they told me it was Paris. But other than that, I didn't. And someone went to a pont, you know, went across Pont Neuf. And I'm like, okay, so I guess that's Paris. But there was no real sense of place, and there was no sense of time. If someone just handed me this book and I didn't have the history with it, and I didn't have any description, I could not tell you what time this in history this took place. Could it take place in the 1500s? Did it take place in the 1900s? I don't know, because there's nothing in that book to indicate that. As for the story, so in the story, there's the character Laure, who I just, she's now working, and then she's working at the mental hospital, and then a new patient comes in who's sort of mysterious, named Josephine, and she gets assigned to just be like Josephine's taker carer of. And Josephine has a secret, and then there's like, they fall in love, but it was badly executed. I never really kind of figured out Josephine's character. Like, Josephine's character could have been written far better than it was. She could have been far more interesting than she was. But she was really very flat in this book. And then there was the whole falling in love thing, which I don't think Jennifer Cody Epstein knew how to deal with. I don't think she really knew how to deal with a sapphic relationship in 19th century France. For one thing, first of all, when you tell a story about two people falling in love, the love part is very important, obviously, but so is the falling in part. And that wasn't there. There was no falling in. All of a sudden, it was instant thing. And then at the beginning of the book, Laure would make these comments that are very clearly to indicate that she is sexually attracted to this woman. And then later she'd be like, oh, this is totally new. I never realized this. I'm like, well, I realized it because you mentioned it like every 3 pages. So it was like, what is going on here? Basically what I felt like with this book was it was a book that could be really great, but needed to go through about 3 more rewrites to really kind of fix these things, that these disparate pieces that were not coming together. I gave it 2 stars, which is a C. Jennifer Cody Epstein's writing is really good. She has a really nice voice. This is an interesting topic. The book itself didn't come together. So that's what I finished this week. That may not be an end of what I finished in June, because I may finish a few books today. So now what I am currently reading, oops, let me go over to the right screen here, make sure I get everything, because I have been known to forget everything, as we all know. In print, I have a few books going in print. I have Body Grammar by Jules Oman. This is the first book that I expect to finish today. So I'm not going to say much about it, because I am going to do a standalone video review about this one. And then I am reading How to Be a Tutor for fun. I still like reading. I just like reading history. I'm not technically doing Historathon because I found out about it too late, and so I haven't been doing it, but I do tend to always read histories, and this one is an interesting one. I'm enjoying it. And then I am reading The Old Drift, as you saw in one of the vlogs, by Namwali Serpell. This is for the Women's World Cup readathon. I have been assigned Zambia, so of course I find the longest freaking book I can about it. But that's okay, it's all tabbed up. If I stick with it, I should finish it a few days before the tournament begins. Not a big deal. I'm actually, I read like the first section now. There's various sections in this book, and I've read the first one, and it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. So I think this is going to be easier reading than the size implies. That's my thought on it so far. And then I only have one other book that I'm reading, and I plan to finish this one, if not today, then this weekend. And it's the one that's, this one. I'm so close to being finished with this on my Kindle. So close. So I may just like buckle down and finish Body Grammar and Stranger Norrell today, so I can count them towards June. And then this one, I'm kind of holding off a couple books until I finish this one. So it's kind of important at this point that I finish this. So but it's an interesting book, and I'm in the exciting part now, so it should be good. And as for what I plan to be reading next, I forgot to bring it down, which means I forgot oh wait, no, I didn't forget the title. Oh, this is providential. I have my book club bookmark. The next one, so I am not doing YouTube or BookTube Goes to War because I felt like I did too much this month. Like I'm just trying to, like I say that, like I say I'm not going to do it, and then my book club for this month is The Women with Silver Wings, like the women who won World War II. So for my book club, so I guess I am. I don't know. I'm reading a World War II nonfiction for my book club, so I guess I can call that for BookTube at War. But that's pretty much all I'm doing. I did forget one other book that I was reading. I am reading Stolen Child by Sarah Stewart Taylor. Then that is the A Stolen Child. Excuse me, I did say it's A Stolen Child by Sarah Stewart Taylor, which is the 4th book in the Maggie Darcy series. It's a series about, she's a detective on Long Island, and in the first book she goes to Ireland to find out what happened to her sister, and she meets a hot guy. And the second book, the hot guy comes over to Long Island and she solves a crime. And the third book, she goes back to Ireland with the hot guy and solves a crime and decides to stay in Ireland. So now she's having to work her way up through the ranks in the police department. But she's already a detective, so even though she's like a beat cop walking just a street, like a uniform, they're pulling her into this big murder investigation because they know she's a really good detective. It's weird, but it's actually a really good mystery. I have no clue where this mystery is going, but I like this series if you're looking for a good series. So that's what I'm reading now. And then the next one I'm reading is The Women with Silver Wings in print for my book club. I guess that's me doing BookTube Goes to War. I don't know. I am not doing Jane Austen July because I'm going to lose so many followers with this. But here he goes. I don't like Jane Austen. I have read all of her novels, some of her juvenilia. I don't like her. I'm sorry, she's just not for me. I'm a Bronte girl. If someone does like Bronte October or something, I'm there. But Jane Austen July, I hope you all have fun. It sounds like a really fun event if you enjoy Jane Austen, or if you want to read more Jane Austen, haven't read any or much by her. Sounds like a really great event. It's organized really well. I've just been there and done that in college, and I've read all her novels. I know this is not a case of me reading one book and not liking it. I've read them all. She's just not for me. But I hope you all have fun. I'm having fun watching the videos of what people are reading because there's a part in it which is like read a nonfiction or read something that's contemporary. And I'm really interested in what people say about those and what their choices are. So I have been watching them, but it's not for me. So have fun and let me know when the Bronte read along is. So anyway, that's my week. I am going to stop this because I know I have a lot of video clips this week from my vlog. So this might be pretty long, and I have other videos that I want to record today. So I'm going to stop this now. And if you made it this far, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.